On April 2010, an explosion at the Horizon Deepwater rig in the Gulf of Mexico killed 11 workers. And 2 days later, the ensuing explosion took the whole rig to the ocean floor, where it spews and continues to spill thousands of barrels of oil a day, contaminating the entire Gulf of Mexico, if not the whole world's oceans. But BP, British Petroleum, they have a history that illuminates how we should look at this company today. Like, oh, poor Tony Hayward, the CEO of BP. Oh, he wants his life back. He wants to drink some tea and eat crumpets. Well, sorry, Tony. You should be doing some hard time. Because if you go back in time just a mere few years to March 23rd, 2009, there was the Texas City explosion. And this is when an isomerization unit, basically what it does is takes the fuel and ups the octane so you can actually pour it in your tank and drive on it. Well, in this raffinate extractor thingamabopper, well, they had no written procedures, and it went out of control, and there was an explosion that killed even more than the people that were killed in the Gulf. It killed 15 people. And since they were so out of compliance, so not in touch with the high technology that they were working with, they had 170 contract workers nearby around construction trailers, temporary trailers. So when you think about oil refineries and the safety hazards and the importance of their operations, you really don't want to be having temporary trailers for everybody. You would like probably maybe a slicker operation than that. Well, as a result, alarms weren't sounded, and 15 people and 170 people were injured. And OSHA came riding in on their horse, say, hey, what's going on here? Maybe you need some process safety management, written procedures, and proceeded to fine them $21 million. And if you're familiar with OSHA, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of penalties. So, made BP promise that they'd clean up their act. They promised that they're going to do it. Well, the citations, the violations went unabated. That's a big no-no. That is like, flagrantly just popping the finger at worker safety and health. So, unabated, OSHA comes back, issues willful citations. Willful. The standard for a willful. I mean, it's hard to prove a willful citation. And I know from experience, well, they got willful violations, and that added up for a nice total of $87 million. 4 times the original. So that was in 2005. And then flash forward 2 more years to 2007. Here they didn't even mess around with monetary fines. They came up with felony charges against British Petroleum for inadequate written procedures. Duh! You have a high technology system. You need the process to be managed and not let some people just randomly turn knobs. Amazing. And a failure to communicate the hazards to the employees working there. What we would call in California HAZCOM, hazard communication. People should know what they're working with. It's only fair. Okay, flash forward another 3 years. Let's go to April 22nd, 2010. Let's go to our favorite president, President Barack Obama, when he said, "Oil rigs today generally don't spill." Not acquainted with British Petroleum's BP's safety record. And he also said, the reason why they don't spill is because they're very technologically advanced. With conviction, too. Unfortunately, Barack Obama is not an engineer or a safety engineer, for that matter, or have any clue about technological systems. Go forward another 14 days, 2 weeks later. You got Tony Hayward. Good old Tony. "Oh, you're interrupting my life with this damn spill. Now I have to actually go on TV and say that the spill isn't that much." Oh, negligible ecological damage. But on April 16, 2010, Tony Hayward got a 40% pay raise. 40% pay raise. And to the chagrin of the investors, the shareholders, because their dividends had decreased by 30%. So Tony Hayward gets a pay raise for producing not just lousy safety records and complete disregard for health and safety, but also he lost money for British Petroleum. April 16th. 4 days later, April 20th, Halliburton, a company whose reputation is not so illustrious, but they recommended that there be 21 devices installed because they were having gas problems. So 21 devices, centering devices were requested. Well, BP decided you get 6. Not 21, you get 6. April 20th, or April 22nd, 2 days later, there was a second explosion and it sank to the bottom of the ocean. And now it's June 10th. June 10th, a couple months later, greatest probably ecological disaster in modern history. I can't think of any other man-made ecological disaster worse than this is turning out to be. And no criminal investigation has been started by the Obama administration. EPA, Clean Water Act, easily $32,000 a day for violating Clean Water Act, as well as criminal environmental crimes that the EPA can go for. And then, in this totally separate investigation, OSHA will be investigating, and should have been investigating criminally, to find out, to look back in time. I mean, look at this. This is a completely criminal enterprise. They completely disregard health and safety, like willingly. So, Tony Hayward, did you pay attention to health and safety, or you're working for your big fat bonus? We know who should go to jail. Not some lying supervisor, some guy on the rig that is not paid a lot of money working with a bunch of other dudes that are contract workers. Some of them are probably not even in a union, and you're going to blame them. Well, Tony, it goes to you. The buck stops with you, and you know what? You should be brought up on criminal charges, and we'll see where it goes from there. And it's up to you, Barack Obama and Eric Holder, to get your shit together and start the criminal investigation. And we can worry about plugging that hole completely independently. That's it.